Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Today on Collection of Lessons, I want to talk about wealth. This is part of my Collection of Lessons series, anything since challenge to anything advice, and let's get going. So what I want to talk about wealth for is because, um, well, people think wealth is like a dollar figure, like $1 million, or um, I don't know, you got some money coming in, or you make you know $200,000 a year or whatever, and I don't believe, and this is just based off of the books I read, the people I associate with, that wealth is a number. I think the number actually of what it is the number of days that you're able to survive on the current with your current like income and expenses and everything, without reducing your lifestyle, if that makes sense. So let's go into some examples. Basically, um, let's say you have like $1,000 in your savings account, and every day it costs $100 for you to live. Now this is just simple terms, right? Like you include in this $100 of expenses per day as like health, or yeah, health, food, water, your rent, mortgage, your living expenses, your vehicle, whatever it is. Let's say it costs you $100 a day to live, which is like a normal amount, because most people's expenses hopefully aren't more than their income, and most people make, I don't know, between $2,000 to $3,000 after tax, at least, hopefully, every month, right? So if you think of 30 days in a month, that's about $3,000. I think that's the average, right? And so if you have $1,000 and it costs you 100 days or $100 a day to live, technically your wealth is 10 days. That's your wealth. It's not a number per se, like an accounting number. It's more like a number in days, um, of your current lifestyle. Because people will think, well, if I quit my job or whatever, and I have $1,000 in savings, that I can just reduce my lifestyle. It's like that's not really what wealth is. Wealth isn't like penny pinching to the max. Wealth is your current lifestyle. Like I have 0 subscriptions right now, right? So I know that I'm not going to be cutting that, right? My wealth is significantly more than someone who has, let's say, in a percentage ratio, tons of subscriptions. Let's say their subscriptions are 10% of their income. Well, if I don't have that, theoretically I can last one more day, or 10 more percent than someone who has those. If I don't have those, if you know what I mean. Anyway, this is what wealth is. Wealth is how many days with the current setup you have, um, if you stopped working. And this is working a job specifically. So when I talk about like the whole, like employment and self-business side, if these were to stop, how much is left on the big business and the incomes or the investment side? How long can this side keep you afloat is basically your wealth, right? If you only make, let's say, $100,000 a year and you have nothing on the right side, your wealth is definitely going to be a finite number. It's going to be less than if you have things on the right side. That's pretty simple to see, I think. Um, so yeah, that's what I want to say about wealth, is basically how many days can you live your current lifestyle into the future. And this is where people will work 30, 40 years to build up the right side in some way, either investments, usually investments, some sort of pension plan, retirement plan, or whatever, that when they retire, like the whole point of, like I said, a job, like, is, let's say you work from when you're 20 years old to when you're, let's say, 55, or I think it's 65 now, maybe even more, 67. When you work all of this, the point is your wealth will last you till 100, or whenever you think your life is gonna, like, pass out. When your life ceases to exist, in a simple sense. You want this income so that this is your wealth and you last X amount of days after you retire. That's the whole point of the wealth. That's usually the whole point of a job, is to get out of the job so that you can, pass this line of whenever retirement is, and then you continue on. So, like, if, let's say, you get rid of this left side, and this is where like there's like I'll go into another video maybe of like 4 stages of like financial freedom, if you want to call them those. It's basically like, are you working for time for a paycheck? Are you, you know, going backwards every month? Are you keeping the same? Are you gaining some sort of, right side of the equation? And then it's like, do you even work, in a sense? And then it's like, can you even stop what you started with your whole right side? So it's like, if let's say you make I don't know, $300,000 a year, and it's completely on this side, right? And you make that no matter what, because your investments or your big business, whichever, is making that, and it's technically passive income. It's not time for dollars anymore. It's not one-to-one or whatever. And let's say your expenses are $100 a day, right? So that means that you're making more, and it's compounding more on top of itself. Technically, your wealth is infinite. It's so high that you could either increase your lifestyle, because this, $100 a day, that's 365 or 36,500. We'll just go like that, right? That's 365, days in a year times the 100, and you're making 300K. It's like, dude, you can either increase your lifestyle, or what if this was like 50? We'll erase this. What if this was 50K? You make it your side, your side hustle or your investments per year, ongoing cash flow, dividends, whichever. It's like you could last easily 1 year, right? But then it's like you're making more than your expenses are. And if you don't work a job and you only have this, you're so much, in my opinion, so much more wealthy than someone who makes 300K at a job. Because when they stop, it's just a ticker, right? It's like, when you go to the bathroom and you tap that sink, and the water stays on until like the plunger comes up and then it stops, or like the motion sensor in front. It's like, that's your job, right? So it's like the water's coming in as your job, and as soon as it stops, you're done, right? You only have so much more wetness to wash your hands with, and then your hands aren't going to be more wet, and then they're going to dry. So it's like, this is the whole point. In my opinion, this is the whole point of a job. The point of a job is to retire, so that you move from this side to this side, you retire, and then you become wealthy. And like, this is what's so cool about it, is like, while you're like, let's say, working a job and whichever, and you're building your right side, like either investing or having some sort of online based business or big business or whichever, right? As soon as this kind of takes over, and then you make more on this side, well, especially if you make more on this side than you do this side, or even if it's the same, let's say that like you make 50K here, and then you make 50K over here, like eventually this one catches up, right? And it's like, it makes that every year. It's like, you don't need this anymore. You can retire. That's the point. That's what retirement is. And it's, I think I've said it enough times now. The whole point of a job is to retire. The whole point of a job is to make the right side, to invest, so the money makes the money, and then you become wealthy, right? And it's like, it's not an overnight thing. It's not a, get rich quick now, throw it all into whatever, stock, crypto, whatever. It's like, it takes time. But how wealthy are you? How long, if you lost your left side, if you lost your employment income, how long can you last? If it's 10 days, right? If it's 20 days, 30 days, and it's at your current stuff. We're not talking about cutting like back, like, oh, I'm going to sell all my cars, or I'm going to stop my insurance on my cars, or, I'm going to unsubscribe from my subscriptions, or I'm just going to eat, ramen noodles for the next whatever so that I can lengthen this time. And it's like, no, what's your current situation? This is your current situation. How long can you last? How wealthy are you? Are you 10 days wealthy? Are you 20 days? Are you 6 months? Right? That's one of the things that I know Dave Ramsey says, 6 months of expenses. 6-month emergency fund. E-fund. It's 6 months. Are you 6 months wealthy? I know when I was like, when I was in my 20s, I was like probably maybe a month wealthy. I had so much debt. And that's the thing, is like, debt just eats you away. It eats away your wealth. And that's why I want to be debt free very soon. It's going to happen. And I never am going to go back. It's going to be so great. Like, becoming wealthy and then understanding that all your money's yours and you're not paying X amount to like liabilities or to a bank for interest or whatever, that's gonna feel so great. And it's theoretically going to make me more wealthy. It's gonna make you more wealthy to get out of debt. Like when you have, let's say, 100K of debt and your interest per month is 1K, this is just into a fire. Literally into a fire. You're throwing 1K into a fire just to hold 100K of debt. It's just bleeding money, right? So it's like if you get rid of the whole 1K, month of interest, and you don't have that, theoretically your expenses go down. Your lifestyle goes down. LS, we'll call that. Your lifestyle expenses go down. You don't have to worry about that. You don't have to work hard. You don't have to make more money. You can make less and be better off and retire, at a normal rate, we'll call it. Not really early, but like earlier than 65, unfortunately. But like, you guys got to get wealthy, man. I want to get wealthy. I think we all want to get wealthy. We want to build the wealth. But anyway, that's what I want to share in this video. Is wealth isn't a dollar figure amount. It's how many days you can last in your current situation without cutting any expenses back. Because, when people lose their jobs, they're going to do that. But like, how wealthy are you if like tomorrow, your job failed you? As I say in many of my other videos, is one day your job will fail you, and it fails you in multiple ways. It could be cutbacks, it could be layoffs, it could be going against your value system, it could be not giving you a 7 or 8 or 400% raise that inflation is these days. They're gonna fail you, so you gotta be prepared for that. So you need to get the frick over to this right side as fast as we can, guys. Like, we gotta do it, and then it's so much more relaxing. I already feel the stress off of like when I was in these type of situations. It's so relaxing. Like, I feel like my spine is decompressing just thinking about it. So that's what I want to share with wealth. Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks, and talk soon.